Guys, hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in to our first episode of Lifestyle and Homes with your host, Alex Khodadad, and I have our special guest today with us here today. Angelica, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Wonderful. So our episodes moving forward on a weekly basis, we're going to be covering our community, and we're also going to be covering your real estate. So all the tips, content, and value regarding your community and the real estate, your real estate needs. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor as you're coming in, give us a thumbs up. We like to see your comments. These episodes are going to range between 15 to 30 minutes, and it's going to be every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Please make sure you share these videos. We're going to be these videos are going to be very localized about the community, what's happening in the community, and making sure that you understand everything that needs to be known about the community, and also especially your real estate. So last week we had talked about a little bit about rent control and what's going to happen in 2020. So I wanted to go back and just kind of recap that really quickly with Angelica, and have you go over that about who is this going to apply to and who is not going to apply to, Angelica.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Okay. So with the rent cap, it's going to apply to people who have corporations.
Okay.
2 to 4 units. So
Okay.
Duplex.
Triplex,
yeah.
or fourplex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fourplex. If they're not owner occupied.
Okay. And it's going to apply to them. So for the people that is going to apply, like you said, if they're a corporation, if they're a duplex, or if a triplex, then if it applies to them, then what do they have to follow? What is the guidelines that they need to follow?
Okay, so there is a rent cap at 5%.
5%, okay.
And plus inflation.
Okay.
So for Contra Costa County, that's 4%.
4%.
Inflation.
Okay.
And it's maxed at 10%, whichever is less.
Okay, so that means that in Contra Costa County, if you got 5% plus 4% for inflation, you're at 9%. So that means that if it does apply to you, you could only raise your rent by 9% a year, which I still think is very reasonable, right? I mean, if you're collecting $2,000 a month rent, the next year you can raise it, 9%, that's another $180, okay? So now what about eviction? So we talked about the rent cap, right? What about eviction? So who can you evict and who can you not evict?
Okay. So as of January 1st,
yes.
There's something that's called just cause eviction that
yes.
comes into place.
Mm-hmm.
So you can only evict based on breach of contract. There's about 15 different things they classify into, and it's just stuff that you can't evict for somebody to, if you want to raise the rent so
right.
much, you can't just
do that. So let's say if you have a tenant that's calling you every 2-3 months and saying, hey, you need to come fix this, or hey, you need to come fix that, and you're just sick and tired of it and you don't want to deal with it anymore, you cannot evict them, right? You got to have a reason. They have to be they must have breached a contract. Let's say, for example, if there are only 3 people that are living in the house and you got 2 other people coming and living there, and you can prove that there's more people living there, they breached the contract, then you can go ahead and start your eviction, right? Or if they're not paying their rent, right? If they're not paying the rent, you can evict them. But if you're like, I don't want to deal with them because they're just a headache, right? Because they're calling me every 3-4 months, or I want because I want to raise the rent or what have you, you can't do that. And if you do that and then they take you to court and they can prove that you didn't have a just cause for evicting them, there's a compensation that get paid, correct? For moving compensation, which I believe is the 1 month of rent. So then, like for example, if you get rid of them and they can prove that you actually didn't have a just cause, they can come after you and make you pay for that 1 month. So if there was $2,000 rent, they could come after you and have you pay that $2,000 just for their moving. So guys, be very careful, okay? You have to be very, very careful that starting next year in 2020, you have to understand the law. This is not to scare you. I know a lot of landlords are going to get scared and say, I don't want to deal with this. I'm going to just sell my properties. No, We're here to educate you, right? That's why, you know, we want to make sure that you get all the right education. You can reach out to us and we can help you. We just want to make sure that you understand as an owner, but also as a tenant. We're not here to just to be an advocate for owners. We also want to be an advocate for tenants also too. Right. So now what about the people that don't, the law does not apply to? Who would they be?
Okay, so exemptions are single family residences where you've supplied the addendum.
Okay.
Duplexes where it's owner occupied.
Okay.
Same with triplex or 4-unit,
okay.
as long as it's owner occupied in one of those units.
Uh-huh.
And then the last thing is.
So then if it's a single family resident, so that consists of, let's say you have a house that you rented out, right? Let's say you have a condo. Let's say you have a townhouse. Or let's say you live in a duplex, you live in one, you rent out the other. Or let's say you live in a triplex, that's 3 units. You live in one, you rent out the other. Or you live in a fourplex where you live in one and you rent out the other, you are exempt. However, there's a form that you need to make sure you give your tenants by January 1st. What's that form?
Rent cap and just cause addendum.
Yep, rent cap and just cause addendum, guys. So be very careful. Hear me out. Hear me out very well, okay? So just because you're exempt, that doesn't mean that you don't have to do anything. So if you got rental properties, if you got condominiums, if you got, you know, a single family resident, right? And you are exempt, you still need to provide them with that addendum to say, here's the addendum. I do not need to comply by this, but here's an addendum, and you need to make sure that they see it, they sign it. They got to sign it. We had a class on this a couple of weeks ago where the attorneys told us that they got to sign. So if you just give it to them and you walk away, that's not good enough. They got to sign that addendum, acknowledging that, yes, you do not fall under that, right? So again, if it's a single family resident, if it's a townhouse, if it's a condominium, you don't need to comply with the rent control. However, you do have to provide them with that addendum by January 1st. But if you're a corporation, let's say, and I'm not talking about an LLC because a lot of people talked about this. A lot of folks think that LLC is a corporation, is a limited liability company. It's a partnership with the protection of the corporation, but it's not. And I can say that because I'm a CPA in my background. So you don't have to comply with that. You're okay there also. However, if you bought these rental properties under a corporation, or when you bought them, you transfer them into a corporation, that would consist of an S corporation or a C corporation, and that would apply to you. And again, you still get that 5% plus 4% for inflation. You still got that 9%. So you got to be very careful how you do this, right? So anything else that you want to talk about when it comes to the, I know this is like, it's a lot of information, guys. I mean, we're actually thinking about doing an event on this and getting people to like come to our event and really going over this stuff, because this is stuff. And now if you have hired a property management, make sure that you reach out to your property management, make sure they're on top of this, right? Just because you've hired a property management, that doesn't mean that they got it all dialed in. So make sure you've got this thing under control, that you don't have a problem, because if you don't comply with this starting next year, this is a statewide rent control. This is not just Oakland or San Francisco. This is the whole state. And as you guys are coming in right now, do me a favor. If there's I see a lot of people are joining in, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, Caitlin. Again, guys, every week we are going to be talking about, our community. We are going to be talking about your real estate. It's going to be everything in it, everything about your content, value, and tips, what you need to know about our community and real estate. So anything else you want to add to this?
You had mentioned with there's
the corporations, okay?
Yeah, with the LLCs. So
yes.
If one person in that LLC is under a corporation,
yes,
then
they have to apply. They have to comply.
Right.
But if there's two people, let's say there's two people and they've formed an LLC, this does not apply to them, right? So it's very
individual.
as long as that's right. As long as they're an individual, then they're okay. Then they don't need to comply with this. But again, this is some very important stuff for you to understand. And I believe, now it's only for resident where you're actually staying in the property for long-term lease. And when the tenant does move out, so let's say a tenant moves out, right? Mm-hmm. When a tenant moves out, you can charge whatever the market rate is, okay? So when a tenant moves out, whatever the market rate is then you can go ahead and charge them that market rate. But if there's a state natural disaster, like let's say fire, burning, or something that's natural disaster, then you have to, even if you're not under rent control, there's a cap of how much you can raise your rent. Because what I can see, what's going to happen, Angelica, a lot of these corporations are going to start putting all these properties back into LLCs, or trying to get them out of the corporation. I could already see this happening, right? It's going to happen. So, and as a tenant, you want to make sure that you understand your rights. That starting January 1st, in Contra Costa County, we're only talking about Contra Costa County, guys. In Contra Costa County, they could only raise your rent 5% a year plus inflation, which in Contra Costa County is 4%. So the total is 9%. That would be the maximum that they can raise your rent. And if they do want to ask you to move out, let's say if they give you a 60-day notice and then that you need to move out, they need to give you a cause why they're moving you out. They cannot just say, I'm so sorry, I need you to move out. Now, I know one of the causes could be that you want to move back into the property, but that better be true, because if not, then the tenant can come back and sue you and say that that was not true, and then you have to pay for their moving expense, which is typically 1 month of rent. Anything else, Angelica, that you want to cover on this?
There's something that this law, it does go into effect on January 1st, but it also applies to any rent that was raised after March 15th of 2019.
That's right.
So it that night for Contra Costa County, it's the 9%.
Yeah.
So if you've raised it over 9% from March 15th, then it's important to know that as of the 1st, you don't have to pay any of that money back, but you do have to roll that rent back to underneath the 9%.
Yeah. And again, for those of you that this applies to, so you need to understand, guys, starting March of this year, actually. So let's say you knew this law was coming, you're like, well, I'm going to raise the rent, and you raise the rent by 20%. Well, comes January 1st, you got to roll back. That's even if you're not, actually, if you are, you have to comply by that rule. Like, let's say you have a duplex or triplex or what have you, you don't live in there, then you have to roll it back to that 10%. If not, that tenant can go complain and you can get sued. And this is a state matter. This is not even a local matter, right? It's a state matter. Now, people ask, well, Alex, what about Oakland, right? The rent control. Which one? Do I go with Oakland? Do I go with state of California? Which one do I go with? Whichever is more strict. So if San Francisco rent control is more strict, you need to go with them. And another thing too, I just want to let you guys know, starting January 1st, please listen to me very well. Starting January 1st, you cannot deny people that are on Section 8 rental, right? So if somebody comes to you and says, I have Section 8, I want to rent, you cannot deny them. Right? You got it. That will be considered discrimination. I mean, you could go with, your credit and checking their credit and whatever, but starting January 1st, you got to comply with that. It's getting very strict, but we just want to make sure that we educate you and empower you, that you understand this and you're making the right decisions.
Right. Another thing to note about Section 8 is that they are exempt from the rent cap.
Yeah, good. They are. Well, then that gives you more reason to accept Section 8, because then they are exempt. Just even like in Berkeley and San Francisco. So like in Berkeley, San Francisco, and Oakland, the rent control, if you take Section 8, well, guess what? Section 8 people, they're not there's no rent control with Section 8. So whatever the market is, so if the market goes up 10, 15% next year, whatever, I think maximum you can do 10%. But you know, if it goes up, then you can raise so that you don't have to comply with that. That's awesome. So guys, if you got any questions, this is a lot of information. I hope you enjoyed this. And I'm really excited that this is our first episode. And I am going to be doing this every week. We will be bringing on lenders. We will be bringing on title companies. We'll be bringing on a lot of different people to educate you, empower you, make sure that you get the right information when it comes to your home buying or home selling or our community. We want to make sure you understand that and be able to help you with. And what inspired me to, you know, I had a TV show on the Persian Network for about 5 years back in 2008. What inspired me to get in is I saw people losing their home, and I saw that they were giving wrong information and they were misguided. And I want to make sure that, you know, you are empowered and you have the right information when it comes to your real estate. But also, we want to make this fun. We want to talk about the community. We are going to have our agents. If you see behind me, this is my wonderful team. I call them my Navy SEALs team, right? We're from this area, Concord, Walnut Creek, Pleasant Hill. We're part of our Chamber of Commerce. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our town. We're going to find what's happening locally in our town, and we're going to come and we're going to share with you. So that way, on a weekly basis, you see what's going on in our community, because our community is very strong. If you go to our website, Channel 2 interviewed me a couple months ago and wanted to know why are home values still down in Concord compared to Pleasant Hill. And some of the reason could be because of the schools. So that's why we want to go through, you know, interviewing principals and interviewing community leaders. And that's our goal. Our goal is not just to talk real estate, because it gets boring, right? We want to talk about the community. So, and I'm really excited, and that's why I brought, you know, Angelica on, because her background is, you know, you've been a real estate agent for how many years now, Angelica?
I've been in the industry since 2001, so 18 years.
Wow.
I've worked in a lot of different areas.
That's right.
From mortgage to, you know, doc signer, certified property manager. I have a few designations from NAR. So
that's right. That's right.
Education.
And you're certified in property management.
Yes.
So you understand it inside and out.
Right.
So guys, again, please reach out to us if you have any questions regarding you know, the rent control. Now I want to switch and I want to get into our community, right? So that 3 areas that we cover in our community is like, you know, what's happening, like that's why it's called lifestyle and homes, like, you know, the foods, the restaurants, what's happening locally within our community, like, you know, the schools, just anything and everything with our community. So that's why, kind of like your next door neighbor, right? Your next door neighbor, but Facebook Live. That's why when I ask you guys, please share these videos. Let people know to connect with us. And the way they can connect is they can go to connectwithalex.com. Connectwithalex.com. And then we do these Facebook Live on my personal page. So they would just request as a friend, we'll accept them, and they can start seeing these on a weekly basis. Now, this coming next week, Angelica, next week we have an event coming up in Pleasant Hill. It's the Pleasant Hill Recreation, and it's off of Taylor. So it's going to be the 32nd annual holiday festival, Wednesday, December 4th, guys. I take my wife and children every year. It's awesome. Have you been to that one in Pleasant Hill? They have it right off of Taylor. No, but yeah, but we got to go this year. You guys are going to love it. I'm going to take all of you guys. But you know, you got Santa Claus there. You got everybody there. It's awesome. And the wonderful thing about it, Angelica, it's free. Who doesn't love free, right? It's free. So I want you guys to come. It's the upcoming event in Pleasant Hill. And we love to have you guys there. And it's free. And if you wanted to get more information about it, you can just go to Pleasant Hill Rec, Pleasant Hill REC.com, PleasantHillRec.com. Click on upcoming events. It's on December 4th, and then when you go on there, you'll be able to see, you know, all the different programs and everything that they have. But it's a huge event. A lot of people show up. It's awesome, and you guys will really enjoy it. And the time is actually from 5 to 8 p.m., and it's at 320 Civic Drive in Pleasant Hill. It's literally right next to the Pleasant Hill Police Station. And it says here, the holidays with a variety of activities, sure to delight. You're going to have Elsa. You can visit Elsa. Oh, my daughter loves Elsa. I actually took my children to see Elsa and Anna last week. So Elsa and friends are going to be there in the Enchanted Forest, building a massive Lego. Ooh, Ryan loves Lego, right? The Lego. So you know, and it says here, chat with your famous Christmas tree, Santa Claus. It's just a lot of different things. They're going to have rides there. They're going to have so much different things that I really want you guys to come. It's funny that, you know, I've lived in San Francisco since 1982, Angelica. I've lived here for 37 years. You would think that I know everything about San Francisco, yet I have somebody that comes like a guest that comes out of town and says, hey, can we go to this place? I'm like, where's that? Right? That's why we want to get involved with the community. That's why, you know, Angelica and Caitlin and Parandis and Teresa and Mitra and Habib, you know, they're going to talk with the community. They're going to come on here and they're going to talk about, you know, restaurants, where's a good deal to go get at a restaurant, you know, where to go get your car fixed, everything about our community. And that's why we're very, very excited about it. So Mahna says, I love the picture. I know, isn't that cool? I love this. This is my family, and I'm really, I think it's really cool. So again, our community spotlight will be definitely every week again. We will be talking about real estate and our community spotlight. What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
I'll be with family.
Yeah, that's right. Thanksgiving, right? It's a time to be grateful for what we have, right?
Yes.
You know, it's a wonderful time. I have my wonderful agent Caitlin. She's actually in the other room right now. She's sitting there and waiting for clients to come. And she's going to be giving them to pumpkin pie, right? This is that time of the year that I love. And for being Persian, what I love about being Persian is that we get to do this twice, right? We get the Christmas and then we get a Persian New Year, right? So we get to celebrate twice, but this is the favorite time. What do you love about Thanksgiving?
Just coming together. I think being together with family, being in gratitude for, you know, the year. Sometimes people take Thanksgiving to be in gratitude, but it's important to remember to be thankful every day.
That's right,
So,
every day.
But it's my favorite because there's a collective where everybody's grateful.
It is. That's right. You know, it's funny because every morning when I wake up at 5 a.m. and before I go to the gym, I always start on my mindset, and I always start with gratitude, being grateful every day for what I have, right? It is such a powerful thing to repeat to yourself every day what you're grateful for. Because when you keep saying that over and over again, it goes into your subconscious mind, right? And it's funny because sometimes like when something bad happens to you, you don't react by getting upset right away because you keep telling yourself that you're grateful, and it goes into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind doesn't know between what's real and what's not real. So when you do this, it's a very powerful thing. That's why gratitude, guys, you know, Thanksgiving is a time to be with the family. And I know now, like when I first came to America, Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving. You sat, you enjoyed the turkey, you were with the family. You didn't say, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock, Black Friday. Bye-bye, see you guys later, right? Christmas, you actually had Christmas. Everywhere was closed on Christmas. The only place that was open on Christmas was what? Just the movie theater, right? Now it's like everywhere's open. It's like, is this a holiday or what, right?
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, being grateful, guys, being grateful, gratitude, spending time with family, and being mindful. Being mindful and living in the moment. We are so caught up, guys, about thinking about the future, thinking about the past, that we don't get to live in the moment. And it's very important to be mindful. So when you're with that family, maybe it'll be a good thing for you to put that phone away for a couple hours, because I'm going to do it, right? Okay. Put the phone away for a couple hours and just really enjoy the time with the family. And when somebody's having a conversation, really pay attention to them, because by doing that, you are being mindful, you are present in that moment, right? In that moment you are present. And what it does, it really helps you with your mind, and it slows down your mind. So you are really getting to process what you have in front of you. So, so I'm excited. We had, having you on, and guys, I thank you guys very much. We've had so many people reach out. Thank you so much. And please do me a favor again, guys. Make sure you share this with everybody, do friends, families, and let them know about our Facebook Live, which will happen every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Again, I will be covering our community, which is Concord, Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek, Martinez, and the surrounding cities, right? And bringing to you guys what's happening, what are the best places to go, where to go get your car fixed, where the deals at, where to, how to, everything, right? And because, like I said, because I used to think everybody knew everything, but we don't. Me living here again for 37 years, I'm still learning a lot about San Francisco. And again, that Pleasant Hill Recreation is Wednesday, December 4th, where it's going to be a festival. It's a 32nd annual holiday festival, and it's free. So you're going to have the Elsa is going to be there, right? You're going to have Santa Claus. You're going to have all these, have Lego. It's going to be a wonderful event. It's from 5 to 8 p.m. It's going to be at 320 Civic Drive in Pleasant Hill. It's free. I'm going to be there. My family's going to be there. My team's going to be there. And we love for you guys to come by and say hello and say, hey, we saw you on video. And who knows, maybe we'll bring you on too. So you guys can share your story too, because we all have a story, guys. We all have a story. And our stories are, we all have good stories and we all have bad stories. But what I believe in this world is being able to inspire people, being able to inspire and impact people. Because if you're able to inspire and impact people, you're able to move them. And that's what we want to do. I believe that we're all connected in some shape or form. Anything else you want to add?
Just thanks for tuning in.
That's right.
Alex will be here every Tuesday with the special guest. So.
That's right, every Tuesday. And then we'll have our, a special guest like Angelica said. Angelica, is there anything else that you thought about regarding rent cap or anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, the rent cap and just cause eviction, it applies to tenants living at the property for 12 months or more. So that's kind of an important thing. If you're looking to maybe do a lease for a certain amount of time before you lock somebody into that amount.
Okay, so like if somebody moves in, if you do an 11-month, as long as if they're less than a year, then it doesn't apply. After 12 months, then this rent cap control applies after the 12 month.
Correct.
That's considering that it was not a single family resident, condo, or what have you, right?
Right.
Okay, great. Okay. So Jack, we just got Ben. I just watched his show going on about an hour ago regarding pie, and actually, you know what? Pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin pie. That's my favorite pumpkin pie. That's right. And actually, you know what? With Thanksgiving, what is your favorite part of the Thanksgiving when it comes to food? What do you like?
Probably pumpkin pie. Yeah, making gluten-free pumpkin pie.
Oh, oh my God. Especially with the whipped cream. Ooh. And you know what? They also do pecan pie, don't they?
Yeah, gluten-free pie.
Yeah, you gotta come by our house, And Tina makes some really good pies too. She's known for her cakes. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I know some people they're not into turkeys, maybe vegetarian, whatever. But it's just about giving thanks. It's about being grateful for what you have. Right now, about what you don't have. Because trust me, guys, there's someone that has more than you, and there's always someone that has less than you. Just being grateful for what you have, right? Because we're all here temporarily, right? And we just want to make sure that we leave our presence before we leave. And again, that's why I believe it's really, really important to be able to inspire people and be around wonderful people like her, like my team, like my beautiful wife and 2 children. So again, thank you guys. Thank you, everyone. What's going on, Ben? Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, guys, do me a favor, please. Give thumbs up. Share this video with someone. And really get the word out. We want to get this buzz out. We want to become like Channel 2, but on Facebook, right? We want to be like once a week, where we want to be able to like, this is nothing to do with us trying to sell anything. You will never see us talk about, well, we're here to sell real estate. No, we just want to educate you. That's why our slogan of our company is empowering one consumer at a time, right? Empowering you when it comes to your community, empowering you when it comes to your finances, real estate needs. Our job is to empower you so you make right decisions. And that's what we want to do. Again, thank you so much, Angelica. I really appreciate you. And I want to thank every single one of you guys for tuning in. I love you guys. Thank you so much. This was my first episode. And you know what's so funny? When we get to episode 100, I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, wow, that was our first episode. And I was with Angelica. Thanks, guys. Hope you guys have a nice, well, I don't want to say evening because tomorrow somebody might watch the rerun. Hope you have a wonderful day. Until next Tuesday at 7 p.m., I wish you all the best. Take care. Bye.
Bye.